All right. Let's see here. Okay, okay. Let's see. All right, what are we doing first? Besides waiting for people to show the fuck up. Welcome to Evil Dojo. I've got a new camera coming later today. I don't know what fucking happened to my old one, but it just shot a brick on me. What are we doing? How's everybody doing today? I see you people. You better start chatting. Can't hide from me. I'm coming. I'm coming for you. One of the things I don't like about Discord is the bloop. Never know where it's coming from. If you got notifications set on like all of your servers, then yeah, I don't like those pop-ups, but those little bloop sound effects are even more fucking annoying. It's like, how do you know when you're getting old? It's you know you're getting old when you actually have to turn off vibrate features on like your phone or like on your video game controller. Like for Skyrim, the vibrate is so bad I had to turn that shit off. It actually hurts my wrists. Get muted, fucking Tucker. I like this. This is a part of Nassim Taleb's whole, I don't want to call it shtick because it is kind of a shtick, but it's also like really his MO. Like, he's all about robustification or anti-fragilification, if that's even a word. So, like, he says, a few movers came to move my boxes, 150 cases of books with very heavy furniture. They were lifting the boxes as if they were filled with cotton candy. Wow, we got somebody. And my shit did not properly show up because of the fucking position I had my shit. I'm gonna replay that just because. Good to see a new follower. Welcome to the stream. Let's see. Recent events. Nice. So check it out. Okay, it still didn't display. Let's try that one more time. Oh, what the fuck? Okay, there we go. There we go, there we go. Thank you, appreciate that. And yeah, that is me crushing it. Literally. A few movers came to move my 150 cases of books with very heavy furniture. They were lifting the boxes as if they were filled with cotton candy and didn't experience fatigue. Not one of them looked athletic. I offered them my barbell set. They were puzzled. They didn't exercise. So there's a lot of what we would describe as conventional wisdom that suggests that it's not about like getting into routines necessarily as diversification of action throughout your life and your days. So like, what's the difference between like somebody who does a lot of physical activity but never exercises versus someone who doesn't do a lot of physical activity during most of the day but then has like an exercise period that they do, you know, like a few times a week or something like that. In one situation, the second one, the exercise is all isolated. It's all contained into very specific, defined blocks of time. And your actions are optimized for just performing the exercise itself, as opposed to what Taleb is kind of pushing, which is a more diverse set of actions throughout the day in which you effectively interweave physical activity and exercise through the different things that you do, in your life. So if these guys all were capable of lifting these heavy boxes without breaking a sweat, then one would immediately think, well, they must be in pretty good shape. Well, there's the ability to be in good shape without being like a bodybuilder or a power lifter, right? And they must have been very strong people in general if they were able to just carry stuff around and they didn't look like bodybuilders or athletic at all. That's the kind of strength that I think most people want. Yeah, I haven't been able to go on a very, very long walk in a unfortunately long time. Although I should put my dog in the carriage and force her to go with me. That's really the main reason, is that she gets very upset whenever I'm gone or she doesn't know where I'm at. But at least if she's with me, then we can kind of see how far we can go before she gets too pissed off. But she's an old girl. And I want to make sure that I take as good care of her as I can. And sometimes that means I have to sacrifice some of the things that I would want to do, such as go on very, very long walks. I know that when she goes off this corporeal plane, I'm going to probably go on a extremely long walk. Might even put myself in a dangerous position. But it's going to be something I need to do immediately. Like, there's going to be a lot of things that kind of unlock and open up when that time comes. I'm going to be a very different person. I don't know exactly how I'm going to become. I don't know what it's going to be like. I don't want to even imagine what it's going to be like. There's a part of me that really feels like that when she dies, I'm going to experience a very big death in myself. And I know she doesn't like me talking about this stuff right now, so we've been through a lot. We've been through both of us, me and her, have been through the absolute fucking ringer. Yeah, there was another thing Taleb said the other day, Dulce, about when you're below the age of 40, you need to optimize your time for the consumption of information. And then when you're older than 40, you need to optimize your time for physical exercise. And guess how old I'm turning next year? Guess how old I'm turning in 5 months. A little bit less than 5 months. A little bit less than half a year left of my 30s. Holy shit. I'm gonna need y'all to lift my spirits up, because that depresses the ever-loving fuck out of me. Holy shit. Where is the time gone? Why am I not where I want to be at? If I had ignored my family, if I had really separated myself, if But at the same time, for the things I've gone through, if I hadn't had, grandma at the bottom of the stack in order to be my rock and pick me up, I wouldn't have had a place to go when shit hit the fan. And when shit hits the fan now, I don't have anywhere to go. I have no support infrastructure outside of this. So it's really on me to get my shit together and to start make some stuff happening. That's why I'm here. We have a lot of work to make up for. We have a lot of time to make up for. And thankfully, knock on wood, there's no threat of physical violence or drama that can stop me. Because those were two very big impacts, two very big things that I had to deal with in my personal life and my family that have really I don't want to say been a reason, but they have been setbacks. Absolutely. Y'all want some weed ASMR? Better to do this before the camera and all that stuff. Well, this is not a weed stream. As a computer scientist who has physical conditions and issues that a lot of people don't have, such as scoliosis of the spine and titanium plates that were installed onto my spine when I was 11 years old, around the time I started programming, in fact. I didn't realize how much pain I was actually in until, I tried weed for the first time. But my failing grades in calculus, senior year of high school, after trying marijuana for the first time, immediately shot to like A's, straight A's. I got a 4 on the AP exam. I entered college taking calculus 2. I found calculus 3 to actually be easier than 1 and 2. I got onto the dean's list in college, smoking weed just as much back then as I've done at any time in my life. In fact, I could tell you exactly what my day was like in 2007. I'd wake up like around 7 or 8, which was enough time for me to get dressed, drink something and then get to school. 9 a.m., like 8:50 something, not 8:45 a.m. I'm parked at my university and I smoke my first bowl. I usually brought like a couple, what I call portables with me, which were pre-packed bowls that I could just rip and then dip. Rip and dip. Rip it and win. Shout outs if you like Aqua Teen. So, so 9 a.m. I smoke my first bowl, and I go to class, which is programming languages, my second time taking it. And then we had class number 2, and then I had like a lunch break where I would go out to my car, smoke, and then I'd go to the cafeteria, grab something to eat. Or go to a gas station or go to a fast food place. And then I would go to the computer lab and I would run recitation for like 30 students or so or I would work the computer lab. And I had it set up so that I only had like 2 classes a day, and then I worked for a few hours a day running the labs, or later on I was doing research work at home. But I had basically like 4 or 5 hours, 6 hours on campus, and then I got to go home in the afternoon, which is fucking great. I had totally open afternoons where I could go home, smoke, play video games, and just unwind before I like got back into doing work and shit. And then I'd work in the evening until my friends hit me up, say, "Hey Mike, you want to come over? It's time to smoke and play Smash." And I would drop everything I was doing, and more often than not, I was done. I very rarely would dip with having like a ton of shit left to do. And then I would go hang at my friend's house till about 2 in the morning. And if I didn't crash over there, then I would, drive back home. And usually along the way, I would hit like Jack in the Box, get me a late night snack, which was usually a pretty big snack. It was like 2 of those $1 greasy tacos, which are really kind of good, plus a chicken sandwich with tomato on it, and then some big drink, usually like a soda, as well as a sometimes I got a shake. I mean, I used to go hard in the paint late at night like that, and then I would sleep, and after that 9 a.m. class, I really tried to engineer shit so that I didn't have to wake up early if I didn't have to. It was only until senior year that I actually had to like wake up early again for a class, and it was because I had to take physics too, because I put it off till the last semester, and it was calculus-based physics too, with the same teacher that I had for physics 1, this really nice French lady, really nice, really sweet, but impossible to understand. Her accent was so thick, it makes me cry thinking about it. Because I actually wanted to learn physics. I really wanted to like get good. And the presentation was just so bad. It was so unencouraging. It really upsets me thinking about how bad that shit was. In fact, physics 1 was so bad that for the final like exam, which was a take-home exam, literally, because I wasn't the only person lost, literally every fucking student in the class collaboratively agreed to show up to the library so that we could all work on the exam together. It was so bad. It was actually bad. Like, we all wanted to learn, but we couldn't, because we couldn't understand what the fuck she was saying. It was so bad though. Like, holy, I can't emphasize enough. And then I had her for physics too, and the class was at like 8 or 9 in the morning again, and I barely made it. I was so tired. I was so exhausted. I was very depressed with life. I didn't really care anymore. I was just trying to like get this shit over with. So I ended up skipping a lot of classes, and I came out of it with like a D, which isn't passing, or at least not enough to get the credit I needed. And then I walked the stage, and then I later found out, like 2 weeks later, that I fucking did not graduate. I was very upset, but I was really more worried about like what my dad was gonna say. What are you watching? Why aren't you chatting? You should be chatting. Ask me questions, bro. What are you watching? Why are you here? Who are you? Talk. Reveal yourself. Stranger, I command it. You're in my space now, bitch. You tell me what you're watching. I'm just fucking with you. Um, I'm just rambling about like college, like how did I get here? The context of these boxes that you're looking at. You really need to read a book called Anti-Fragile to really understand this kind of trip that I'm on. Imagine you have a box, and a box is labeled fragile because it contains a bunch of glasses, a bunch of ceramics, a bunch of porcelain. If you shake that box up, if you decide you want to just like go fucking ham on it, chances are you're gonna break some shit in that box. Chances are, um, if you shake that box further, the broken stuff will get even more broken. And over time, you could, if you were really shaking that box up, you could break it down to its finest components. Now imagine a box that says, instead of fragile, it says anti fragile. So, what happens if you shake a box that's labeled anti fragile? Well, the contents of the box get stronger, which sounds weird. It sounds like something that can't be a real thing. But it's actually a thing that exists in a lot of contexts, just not in an immediately recognizable sense. But honestly, the best analogy for anti-fragility that I can think of that like young kids would actually resonate with if Nassim Taleb had actually watched anime is with Dragon Ball Z. Goku and Saiyans in general are like the prime example of anti-fragility because every time a Saiyan gets his ass kicked, he comes back stronger than before. And so this is like the perfect analogy for like what anti-fragility actually is. It's the whole idea that like when you work out or when you cause a muscle to compress and contract and tear itself, that you're creating micro tears that your body has to repair, and so it comes back like with more density than it did before. And that's like the whole premise of like muscle building, right? Like in order to repair those tears, your body needs protein. You have to cycle between these states of rest and exercise and replenish. And over time, the mass itself gets bigger. That's like the whole idea, right? So we can become anti fragile in a lot of ways in our life, in a lot of different areas. We can become more emotionally resilient people. We can become stronger physically. We can become smarter intellectually. We can become more knowledgeable in just amount of knowledge that we have. We can become wiser in proper application of knowledge that we contain. Um, but really, the thing with anti-fragility is like avoiding routine, like finding ways to like shake your routine up in a way where like you're not just doing the same shit every day, or like instead of exercising at like 5 p.m. every day for like 1 hour, you could exercise for 30 minutes at a random time every day by introduction of this random factor. Fucking, I hate these people. I hate these bots. I hate these bots. Get the fuck out of here, you piece of shit. Fuck you. Fuck you, Kevin KVO, and everything that you're about. I hope your family knows what a piece of shit their child is for daring to come into someone's channel and blast that bullshit. Go fuck yourself. Every time someone does that, I'm going to end up having to wipe the chat from the screen. I do apologize. I'm not about to let these bots win. And before I get flooded with a fuck ton of bots, though. So, we're just chilling, we're just chatting. We're going to get around to doing some code in a little bit, but, you know, sometimes you just gotta chat and vibe for a bit. Let's see, I just ground up a bunch of stuff to toke. So I'm gonna toke. I'm gonna probably get some more coffee rolling. Probably take my dog out to go pee pee. Relocate to the big screen so I can sit on the couch for a little bit maybe. There's one thing that I am kind of like sifting back and forth on. Maybe y'all can help me with. So currently the game setup that I'm building here is almost entirely .h files, which is working. It's, you know, working well enough. But there's a part of me that has some sort of anxiety about actually debugging when this thing grows even bigger. It might make more sense for me to actually move the code for the implementation of the class methods for most of these files into its own .cpp. And the reason being, one, over time, as I focus on specific objects, assuming that, you know, like nothing else needs to be rebuilt, it should be pretty straightforward. The reason I might want to do this is because it'll help me isolate the location of certain errors. The errors in C++ are generally god-awful to begin with, but by doing things in like a header-only fashion, I feel like it might actually complicate things going down the road. Even though, you know, there is something kind of appealing to having like all of the code in the header files, right? Like, this is kind of nasty. It's kind of nasty looking. Nasty like your face. I punched it with my C++ knowledge. Stretch. Pop. Oh, oh, that's a good one. Let's see. All right, I got to piss. All right, we're back. Still gotta take my dog out in a little bit. Who's watching? I see y'all chatting. I see y'all watching. We got a few people on. What y'all want to talk about? What's up, Dulce? No, you're like OG fam at this point. Fuck, dude. I'm not even sure how you found my channel. Let's see. I was talking about separating out some of this implementation code so that we can have, I guess, what you would call proper proper object building in the makefile, so that we can potentially debug better. Maybe we can avoid it. Maybe we can just deal with this. Because the errors cascade like a motherfucker. If you shove all your code into header files the way that I've done, if you have an error at like one level, then it gets propagated to other locations. So it makes it difficult to, over time, figure out like where stuff needs to actually be fixed at. So I kind of want to take time to do that. First, let's check in some of this old code. All right, that's all. Oh wait, I forgot. I want to check something. Yeah, y'all get the window. Y'all can see that shit. Sounds like my hot water is ready. Okay. So that was interesting. The cup that I was using suddenly decided it wanted to form a micro tear, like a very micro fine crack, and it began leaking from the bottom. So I had to switch coffee cups. Thankfully, I have multiple. I've got a few. So yeah, I was just thinking to myself too. So when like if I were to like copy a clone of myself and ask myself, as owner of this company that wants to make games and hack for profit, do I need to do this? And is there a way that I could do it faster than having to like manually do it myself? I could try to vibe code it all out, but that also even gives me a little bit of anxiety because I know that this is a problem I'm able to solve myself. And really, the two best use cases for the LLM tooling, the agentic AI shit, are stubbing out things faster than you can do it, which might be a great use case here, and solving a problem that you just don't want to have to take the time to figure out, which there's a difference between these two categories. In one category, the problem is really sheer effort, which the AI is great at. Absolutely. The AI will crank out more lines of code off of your one prompt than anyone could get of you off of one prompt any day of the week. AI kills us at that. Like, AI absolutely destroys mankind on that front. If the AI wanted to, right now, it could just take all of that power and just fucking murder. Just absolutely put a genocide to the human species right now. In terms of like how much compute power is available, right? Like even just one of these models can like with all the servers they've got hooked up serving all the customers who are banging on their shit constantly. For all the code that's being generated by AI now, there's probably been more code generated by AI in the last few years than have ever been written by human beings ever in the history of mankind. Not that like computer programming history is very big, but up until I think a lot of us probably would have never even questioned this. So the nice thing about swapping into a new branch is that we can just like run Aider on this if we want to. So like let's take a look at which objects are actually going to need refactoring. Because some of these things depend upon other things. All right, let's do some shit. Let's do something cool. We're living dangerously over here. You know, this would actually be a great chance for me to try Quen. It's been on my agenda for a while. I took a look at the pricing of Quen recently. Um, let's see. I could pull it up right now. Uh, let's see. I've still got plenty of credits. Um, and actually, I think I'm even using a dated version of something. Um, HTML parser has no attribute on escape. Paperclip. Huh? Looks like we have a chance to file a bug report because the new version just did not install. Will it still work? Yeah, it still works. So, wait, that's DeepSeek. I'm looking for Quen. No, that's DeepSeek Quen. We want the real Quen. So here's Quen, right? I lost my window. There we go. Let's see. This one's not like terribly priced. It's like a little bit more expensive than DeepSeek, but not like super terrible. So like, let's compare. DeepSeek's got a. I need to be actually using. Because I've been using. Let's see. Yeah, DeepSeek v3. Quen 3 Coder. This one? Okay. Yeah, yeah. So I've been using DeepSeek Chat. Like, let's compare these two. So I'd much rather try Quen than like try Gemini again. Holy shit. Now that said though, I have used DeepSeek Chat to do some really interesting non-programming things, such as create like Chinese flashcards, which I could show y'all some of the work I've done on my my custom flashcard application. And in fact, I kind of want to do like a command line version in the near future, because I like flashcards, I like SRS, I like Anki, but I also recognize like a genuine opportunity to like make a better product, and like make software that I really want to use, because Anki's been around since like college, and I actually discovered like a fatal design flaw with regards to like how it displays Chinese characters. So that'll be something we can explore. This is how I come up with guitar riffs. I just like make stupid sounds with my tongue and mouth, and I'm like, okay, DeepSeek. DeepSeek versus Quinn. 18 cents per million input, 17 cents per million output on DeepSeek. 20 cents per million on input for Quinn, 80 cents per million on output. So only slightly more expensive. It's really kind of negligible. So Qwen 3 / Qwen 3 coder is how we load it up. And yeah, see, like the cost is really, honestly, like for a lot of people, probably not even a real super strong consideration in like which model they choose. And a lot of people, I think, are defaulting to Claude and just burning absurd amounts of tokens and not getting as far as they could if they like took the time to like rework their approach. Maybe Claude can be tuned to be like way less verbose, but in practice, while I have gotten Claude to like one shot a couple problems for me, in actually doing like real iterative work, I've not found it to be as pleasant an experience as DeepSeek. And seeing that Qwen is similarly priced, I'm also thinking that my experience with Qwen is going to be good, not just for the price, but for the iterative problem solving that it could offer. Yeah, dude, not to mention, like, super important for anyone actually setting out to, like, actually try and learn this shit, right? Like, as a researcher, as someone who does, like, independent research, because I'm actually interested in this shit, and, like, I'd be, even, you know, like, whether or not I have money, whether or not I have work, I'm still doing this shit. So, like, you know, the plan is to do this until I die. And you know, even when I do have a lot of money, I would still do this shit for free. You know, like one of my goals is that I want to be able to offer a lot of this stuff for free, or with like minimal like user having to like do a transaction with me type shit. I think it would be really great to be able to offer that for people in the future. But I got a lot of things I got to take care of, and fortunately, my personal like escape velocity, like desired money, is really not like all that high. I'm not like asking for a lot here. I think I could reasonably retire and not have to fuck with like making money ever again if I had like about like $2 million. Because not only would I be able to take care of all of my obligations and set myself up with a life plan where like my living expenses and my day to day and like where I'm living and all my bills and stuff are accounted for between now and when I die, and then allocate like side money for like helping out friends and family and loved ones closest to me so that I can like provide work for other people and develop a revenue stream so that they too can get paid. And then I can focus on like offering things for free. I think that would be great. Okay, so we're going to try out Quencoder and we're going to see how it does with regards to refactoring some of these .h files. So in this project, I've got a main.cpp. Actually, in this project, I have a main.cpp along with a lot of .h files. Many of these .h files implement C++ classes representing game objects. I feel like I should begin refactoring these files into .h and .cpp pairs where the implementation code is separate from the declarations as in old C style projects. I feel like header only implementation will become difficult to debug as the project grows. Am I right? And how should we begin? Oh, that's interesting. The output is very interesting on Quinn. The spacing is really interesting. Um, oh, I shouldn't have added minshell. Now, see, I'm always curious about the lint errors. Wait, what? Okay, so add the fucking include. Only 3 reflections allowed. What the fuck? Okay, no, it didn't have a problem with that. Okay, so it's fine. What about the make file? So I can always take a look at. That would actually be a fun opportunity for me to like start contributing to an open source project. I actually applied for Goose's grant program recently. Let's see, Goose. So this there's a competitor to Aider actually, Dulce, called Goose, and they have a grant program that they just dropped where they're offering people straight up $100,000 across a year in order to build some like aspects to like start to self automate. I tried out Goose. We can actually compare Goose to Aider. So far, I feel like Aider is better, but like Goose is an interesting competitor, and I think all of the competitors are interesting. I haven't tried them all yet. I know that OpenAI has Codex, which is OpenAI specific, and I know that Claude Code now exists, which is also Claude specific. I wouldn't be surprised if Grok Code doesn't come out soon. I actually filed a bug report with not Aider with I may have filed a bug report with Aider, but I definitely filed a bug report with Goose because their UI for like model selection is absolutely bad. They should really be doing what Aider does, where you can like pass it in on the command line as a flag. Like the difference between those two alone is kind of huge. So it makes a lot of sense. I'm not sure when the best time to do streams like this is going to be, but I think one of the goals here is also to just start being live as much as possible. While I won't be able to show everything that I'm working on, and I'll have to be very careful to like not open certain tabs and windows, I think this will be a good kind of chill format going forward. So let's see. CPP files. Charm Crush? What's Charm Crush? Talk to us about that, Dulce. While let's actually try make now, right? Okay, so Sprite works as a separate file. That's pretty good. So what's next? We need to excellent work. Now in the make file. Oops. Let's drop some of these things. Oh, thank you. Why is it getting rid of my index? Wait, we don't need to add these. Oh, okay. It still maintained it and then dropped it like this. So, but it did not update the maybe that's because of the way that we have to build it over here. But wait. Let's see if this works. Oops. Oh. Yeah, it didn't. Oh, huh. Okay, so up here, we're gonna have to update this. Unknown file type. Really? Maybe we won't be able to do it like that. Alright. Alright. Okay. Let's make sure that this still works though. Okay. That worked. I wish we could use the object files here, but it is what it is. So this is Charm Crush. Nerd sniped. Yeah, I heard that Claude had to implement some really aggressive rate limiting recently because people are like buying like the pro account for like unlimited usage and then wiring that up to their agentic shit. Which I think is hilarious. Okay, so that built. Uh-oh. No drawing. Oh no. Oh no. What? What happened? Exception thrown. Compile with exception. Oh shit. Human idle. What? Uh, okay, so oh, it deleted some shit. Um, wait. Oh yeah, preload file. Dash preload file. Oops. I didn't mean to do that. You see, I don't have a music or a SFX or a shaders yet. Oh no. Okay, it loaded it this time, but we're getting some sort of it's only one place that it's possibly throwing this exception. And it's not happening in the main binary either. Nice. Um, oh, yeah. We can't do that. Let's get that Copilot shit out of here. Oh, well, oh yeah, right. So this actually, we could just %D that shit. Okay. We got no errors there, but when that exception gets thrown in the index, we should at least see something before it craps out on us. Actually, interesting. So let's try this out. Oh, interesting. All right, let's see what happened. Component not nice. We managed to get at least the actual message there. Because we didn't compile it with debug. That's right. So actually, debug equals 1. -1. Oh shit. When are we actually looking up for -1 though? And why doesn't this, like, why don't we actually see it in the actual output for the desktop build? See nothing. It's clean. It's clean output. It's exactly what we want. But we've gotten stuff to work for web before, so it's going to be very interesting figuring out like what the actual problem is. Let's see. So, as I mentioned earlier, this is the only place where, like, it could be returning anything. So, like, if we're getting -1 from somewhere, let's find out exactly where. Nice. Okay, so we get to begin draw, and then somewhere before the end draw gets called, um, so actually it might be right here. Getting SG for hero ID. Entering big ass loop. Exited big ass loop. I drawed it. I drawed it all myself. Let's see. Begin draw. Whoa. Oh shit, it's actually hitting it before. Oh man, huh. Wait a second. There we are. So the hero ID has not been set at that point for some reason. If hero ID exactly equal -1. What the fuck, dude? You didn't set hero ID yet. Shit. Okay, so it doesn't exit out there. So what the fuck? What the fuck, dude? You didn't set it? Shit. And then it's just like, you can't, oh, you have to force exit using Inscripton if it's the web build. So if indef web build so they had something that I didn't write down. So we're gonna do that again. Mscript and force exit. Okay, so that doesn't look like a function I can use. Oh, there we go. Exit runtime. Oh, okay. Uh-oh. Okay, I used to do -S. Okay, so we're cleanly exiting when there's an error now. But now the real question is, why is it thinking that hero ID is -1 to begin with, when it very clearly works for the desktop build? Oh, fuck. We have a hero ID up here. We never actually initialized it. The fact that the desktop build doesn't crash is an absolute miracle, and also total accident, because like we should really be asserting that like the hero ID is not -1 there. So what I'll do is HID equals 0, and then we could do this pointing to, yeah, this pointing to hero ID equals HID. That should fix the web build. There we go. Fuck yeah. Fuck yes. That's what's up. That's fucking debugging. That's debugging in a nutshell. I found a place in my code where shit was -1 still. Now, one thing that this needs that isn't currently doing what it needs to do is stretch to the size of the window. So like, I had code in previous projects such as the Pirate Software Game Jam, where during the rendering loop, and I stopped doing it because I began hard drawing everything at a certain size. So at the beginning of every frame, we want to check to see if the window is resized or not. And if it is, then we update window DST. Because in the desktop build, I'm rendering at 800 by 480, and that's still the target texture size. But doing this, it should properly stretch. Hell yes. Sup? What the fuck is up? Yeah, what's up, boy? Shit. This does not look bad. Feels like slightly a little bit compressed, but when you zoom out, it does not look. I mean, actually, yeah, that's all right. It's all right. Actually, I think we need to make the base texture a little bit bigger. So over here, what we'll do is go to game config. So now we're rendering at a texture that's bigger than the window on the desktop, right? So now that's like actually a little bit shrunk down. And also I think squished on the sides because it's, I don't think this is the correct like calculation. But like half of 1280 would be 640, right? So 640, 480 would be like 4.3, but half of 700 is 350, so this would be 360. Oh, see, we need to update the make to include the fact that the game config is like that, and then our headers includes game config. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, that actually looks, that looks really good. It's a slightly better positioning of everything. So at 1x zoom, we're out here. One thing I'm thinking about with regards to like level or like dungeon floor design now is like what's the largest dungeon that we're gonna want to realistically have? Because at the end of the day, one thing I'm able to do, let's see. So we can do this. You know, like we can have a pretty big, you know, initial room that this guy is starting in. And while he's in the top corner at the moment, chances are, you know, if you spawn, you're going to spawn in some random location. And what I like about this setup is this more easily allows me to do things like construct walls, which previously, you know, the wall kind of setup, you know, it doesn't always make it clear that like there's a wall next to you, right? This makes it very kind of obvious, assuming that I decide to take advantage of certain placements and stuff like that, right? So the player's on a tile, but like when we're moving from tile to tile, like based on how the code's organized at the moment, we'll have to, like if I wanted to like actually introduce like wall, like the tiles as they are as like a potential wall or like blockade, when the player's moving, we'll actually have to check a Z level above where the player's at in order to see if there is a tile there. So when we actually render this dungeon, this floor, we're going to have to consider that there will be a whole Z layer, or maybe even more than one Z layer, that contains nothing but null or like empty tiles or like void tiles. So at the moment we have none and void. We could even introduce like an empty, just to make a distinguishing between like void, none, and empty. So like if a tile type has none, the implication is that the tile type hasn't been set. If the tile type's a void, the implication is that it's an empty tile, but it's not an empty tile that you can move through. It's meant to be kind of like a containing boundary type of tile. Whereas empty could actually represent a genuinely empty slot in the dungeon where a tile could go. So if the player is beneath an empty tile, because he's standing on like a stone tile, for instance, and maybe to his left there is a tile above the Z level that he's on, then it would render as a block wall effectively next to him. So one of the things I hope to be able to do by doing this is we'd be able to effectively separate out each Z level and even render them at different like spacings apart, so that for instance you might get an ability, like some crazy spell or something, that allows you to reveal like layers, because the whole thing that I'm seeing with this kind of setup is that we can have like hidden rooms effectively, or like hidden things inside of tiles, or like things that are like beneath other tiles, or something like this, where we can kind of like take advantage of these layers and create some really interesting, potentially very complicated structures that only contribute to like a more interesting dungeon environment. Say, look at me. Don't you want me to have cool dungeons to go through? Don't you want me to don't you want me to go on an adventure? We got that one ring, and we got to take it to the fires of Mount Doom. Stop all the evil in the earth from occurring. And while we're doing it, we got to duck and dodge every last fucking bad guy out there. I'm just a fucking hobbit. All I want to do is drink tea, sit at home, and hang out with my dog and cat. And you're going to ask me to go on a fucking adventure? Fuck you. Fuck you and everything you're about. I ain't about that shit. But I am about telling a story where a dude does that. Shoutouts to Tolkien, because I wouldn't be doing this shit if not for him. Not for fucking Lord of the Rings. I'm just coming back to the chat. Dulce, I'm checking out what you're saying. Well, okay, so like the only I think I've managed to like I literally fucking manually figured out the placement for everything in order to do the multiple layers. So I started with one layer, and I figured out exactly how many pixels to the left and to the up and to the down that you have to render things, and you have to do things in a certain order, but you can still effectively like do it in a way where you operate on one row at a time and one Z level at a time and one set of columns at a time, and you could still end up with something like this. So like as another example of this, let's change it to like 5 by 5 by 5, or better yet 3 by 3 by 3, or maybe 3 by 9, or I don't know, 666. Let's do it. Uh-oh. Our dude is gone. Where'd he go? I know where he went, but so what was the problem there? So our dude is still on the bottom level, and we need to put him at the top level. There he is. Honestly, it wasn't that bad. I'll show you what that code's like. So literally, here's our big ass loop. And there's probably a way for me to do this better, but it works. Here's the z-axis, here's the y-axis, here's the x-axis. because everything is actually rendered in a 2D space, I do a transformation. I first calculate the XY that is like the locking point for the destination rectangle, right? That's equal to 8, which is effectively the size of one tile, also the primary size of most of the sprites, times 8 minus psi. So we actually subtract 8 from whatever position we're on, and then we multiply that by j, which is like the current y value. So it's actually 8 times I minus 8 times j. Similarly, for the y-axis, or for the y value, we do 4 times I plus 4 times j, and then we subtract 8 times k, which is the z value. So in order to figure out, like, if you have a block 1 z level below, like a 0, 0, 0, so you have like a block at 0, 0, 0 and a block at 0, 0, 1. So that 0, 0, 0 block, so first of all, the z-axis when I'm rendering are actually inverted. So floor 0 actually is on the bottom. So we start by rendering the bottom tiles first. And then every time we go up a level, we subtract 8. So when we finish rendering a z equals 0, and we go up to z equals 1, which is the level above that one, we just move 8 pixels up in our canvas, and we repeat that process for the next layer. And we just repeat that for every layer. So there's a lot of optimization that I can do to eliminate like redundant draws, because a lot of the scene is static and won't need like constant updating. So ultimately what we would probably end up wanting to do is render a lot of this to a a series of different render textures that we will stack on top of each other, just like I did with Project RPG. And what this will end up doing is ultimately reduce the number of draws that we need like per frame down significantly from 60, so that we're not like wasting a lot of like computational time drawing. So we can extract as much CPU power back for doing cool things in the engine. So once we have our XY, right, we grab the tile type at that position, we check to see if it's a stone, and all of them are right now. And if it is, we grab its associated texture, we set the source and destination rectangles, then we draw that tile, and then we have a check to see if that tile contains our player. So this is very similar to how Project RPG works. What I'm building now is actually going to be the real Project RPG. It's really not that much difficult. It's not that much more difficult, as you can see. It's literally the same process. You just change up like slightly the calculation of your XY, and you're good to go. Now, as for actually making the tiles, this is someone's Lua script that I found online. Right here. Check this out. So this is someone's Lewis script that took basically what you do is, I'll show you how it works. Let's do a new one. Okay, so let's take this one. First, you select the region that you want to convert. You pull up the script for isometric tile, hit enter, and then you hide the first layer. No, you hide that new layer. And then you run the next script, which is isometric side, hide that. Then you run isometric front, hide that. Then we hide the bottom one and actually delete it. We can unhide isometric tile, move it over 3, down 3. Then we can unhide the next one. 1, 2, oops. We have to make sure it's selected. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have to move that one over a little bit more. And then the last one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. Okay. And there you go. So this was actually like fucking sweet, because now I can actually just Control E to export. And then I can save this as 06.png. And then back over here, I'm going to save this one as 06.asprite. So let's look at that Lewis script, because I feel like the script, as well as the other ones, can be aggregated together so that not only can I like run all 3 scripts with one script, but also that they update the positions of the tiles automatically so that I don't have to do that manually. I feel like that's something that I'm going to be able to easily hack together. And if I can do that, then my dream of being able to fully automate like the generation of the sprites with like the different hats and the different clothing and stuff, totally easier, more viable to do. What would be really cool is if I could run this all without like actually opening a sprite though. Yeah, of course not. No, I mean, there is a level of granular detail when it comes to like being a pixel artist. I have a great appreciation for. It's just not the kind of thing that, like, one of the things that I would want out of like Asprite or like my dream pixel art editor, which Asprite's very good. It's very close to like what I would really want. But some of the like one of my favorite things navigating on a keyboard is like this idea that I have a cursor that I can move across my screen. And I effectively want a cursor that I can manipulate using the arrow keys or some combination of keyboard keys, so that I can put my hands on the keyboard and start drawing pixel art without my hands ever having to leave the keyboard, and keep them in a position where it's very similar to like my hand position writing code. So like home row and all that stuff. A lot of the lighting effects that I plan on implementing are going to be done in a procedural fashion, either and probably as some sort of combination of like custom layers that I add on top of textures, as well as like shading and shaders. Oh, my dog just woke up. About time. She's acting like she didn't hear me. It's probably time for us to go do some business. It allows me to get a smoke and maybe get something to eat. I'm still going to be on, though. I ain't going anywhere. Let's check a few things in first. Oh, shit. One of the nice things about working with private repos is I don't have to fucking constantly put in my goddamn access token all the fucking time. Jesus Christ. Alright, baby doll's up. Let's see here. I like this colors. Touch grass, everybody. Get some fresh air. Let's fucking go. Touch grass. Oh yeah, I could put on some music. Yeah. Now you can actually see what the selection is. Damn it. It won't let me move it once it's locked in without resizing. That's fine. No, there we go. Okay.
Listening to Evil Dojo Dark Mage in the house with the sick flow. Listening to Evil Dojo Dark Mage in the house with the sick flow. now listening to Evil Dojo. Dark Mage in the house with the sick flow.
For you everywhere, so cold you can't even feel my stare. Why try? I can do the shit anyway. So cash in hand, we ain't got no time to play. Oh no, no, I can't do this alone. Oh no, no, I need that evil dojo. Oh no, no, where the fuck are you, Dark Mage? Oh yes, baby, I need that evil dojo. Hey you, I've been looking for you everywhere. So cold, you can't even feel my stare. Why try? I can do the shit anyway. So cash in hand, we ain't got no time to play. Oh no, no, I can't do this alone. Oh no, no, I need that evil dojo. Oh no, no, where the fuck are you, Dark Mage? Oh yes, baby, I need that evil dojo. Oh no, no. Oh no, no.
Hey, I need my motherfucking coffee. Ain't not a person in the world who can stop me. The corporate world is the devil, I am godly. Till I got my coffee, I'm the motherfucking top B. I need my motherfucking coffee. Ain't not a person in the world who can stop me. The corporate world is the devil, I am godly. As long as I got my coffee, I am the motherfucking top B. I need my motherfucking coffee. Ain't not a person in the world who can stop me. The corporate world is the devil, I am godly. As long as I got my coffee, I am the motherfucking top B. I need my motherfucking coffee. Ain't not a person in the world who can stop me. The corporate world is the devil, I am godly. As long as I got my coffee, I am the motherfucking top B. I need my motherfucking coffee. Ain't not a person in the world who can stop me. The corporate world is the devil, I am godly. As long as I got my coffee, I am the motherfucking top B. I need my motherfucking coffee. Ain't not a person in the world who can stop me. The corporate world is the devil, I am godly. As long as I got my coffee, I am the motherfucking top B. I need my motherfucking top B. I need my motherfucking coffee. 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 Ain't not a person in the world who can stop me. The corporate world is the devil, I am godly. As long as I got my coffee, I'm the motherfucking top B.
Boots on the ground, I'm setting up shop. In the shadows where the action won't stop. Silent and steady, got my sights on the prey. One hit, one kill, that's my tactical play. Can't be queen in the game, can't deny. Got my sniper and I'm aiming high. Enemies rage while I bask in the glow. Hiding in the dark, I'm the star of the show. Map knowledge sharp, I'm a beast unseen. In the bunker where the kills are clean. Patience pays off, I'm here to stay. Stacking up the score while others decay. Can't be queen in the game, can't deny. Got my sniper and I'm aiming high. Enemies rage while I bask in the glow. Hiding in the dark, I'm the star of the show. They think they got me, but I'm playing smart. Laying low and silent, that's my art. Every corner's mine, I'm the camping champ. Watch your step or you'll catch my step. Camping queen in the game, can't deny. Got my sniper and I'm aiming high. Enemies rage while I bask in the glow. Hiding in the dark, I'm the star of the show. Camping queen in the game, can't deny. Got my sniper and I'm aiming high. Enemies rage while I bask in the glow. Hiding in the dark, I'm the star of the show.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna take 5 or so. Get my dog some snacks. Get my cat some snacks. Plug in this new camera, and I'm gonna restart OBS.